Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Ma.
Yeah, to join. So I welcome you to Visioning Workshop 2023. You're welcome. I'm so excited to be doing this today and in this year. Um, I'm very passionate about the subject of vision, and that's because at a certain point in life, I started to ask questions. So when someone starts to ask questions, right, that's when answers also begin to come. But when we don't ask questions, we are not entitled to getting any form of answer. All right, so let me just do a brief introduction of myself. I am Bisola Ayodele, and I'm currently living the life I envisioned 7 years ago. I was at a stage in my life where I felt at a pause. I had no clear means of making use of the time I had. I had so much time, I didn't know what to do with the time. So I knew one thing I could do. So there's always one thing we can do, which was to retreat. So I just put myself on a period of, waiting on God and just worshiping and pouring my love on him. Then suddenly in the midst of all that, I stumbled on a form that asked some questions about the future. The future I was actually anxious about because I wasn't certain of what was coming next. Okay, I'm done with school now. What should I do next? Should I go home? Should I wait for youth service and all of that? But then in the midst of it, I saw that form. Okay, and I just took a step of faith in filling out the answers in a notebook. And if you followed my post on Facebook before this class, you would have seen that I wrote there that one of the mistakes visionaries can make is to write the vision down and then hide it, maybe under the table or hide it under their pillows. We need to put the vision, ever before us. We need to keep looking at it so that we can become what we have written down. So you are welcome to your becoming once again. And now, 7 years after, I'm hosting this visioning workshop. We had the first edition at the Exploit Place last year, and we're having a more practical one this year. So I welcome you to class. Sit comfortably and enjoy the ride. Okay, so we have done a first assessment where we answered some questions. This is a chart I'll be sending also to us after this class. You can see that it's a vision chart, the KWL vision chart. K there stands for what you already know. What do you know about your vision? What do you know about vision itself? What do you know about the world's vision? And what do you know about the Lord's vision? What do you know already? Then the second part, which is W, stands for wants. What do you want to know? What exactly do you want to know? And then at the end of this workshop tomorrow, you'd also fill in what you have learned. So this guide will be sent to us after this workshop so that we can just, walk around it and see what we know, what we want to know, and what we actually learn. So before we also dive in fully, let's quickly take our confession. I believe, yes. So you can just take it with me where you see where you see name, fill in your name. I, Bisola, have the eagle's eye. My senses are sharpened. I am not oblivious of my times and my seasons. My blind spots are illuminated, and I understand my life 20 years ahead, 10 years ahead, 5 years ahead, and 1 year ahead. Whoops, awesome. So let's move on quickly. Vision, vision, vision. An author I admire so much, Miles Monroe, says, when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. When we don't know why something exists or why something should exist, then we can treat it anyhow. We can even choose to remain in ignorance. So I have this framework here to help us understand that subject matter, vision, properly. If we pay attention to this framework, it will guide us even after this workshop at every junction when we need to make decisions. So here I have the what, I call it 4WH framework. What, why, when, where, and then the H stands for how. So what is vision? Vision is a picture that is captured by the mind, and it is concerning years to come. It is concerning a time to come. It could be tomorrow, could be years ahead. Vision is a picture, but that picture needs to be captured by the mind because it is a future time. It's a time we have not witnessed. Vision, it also is described as the ability to plan the future with imagination or wisdom. So when you just sit down and you start thinking about a specific matter, then you start creating images about that matter. That is vision also. Because on one end, we might say, oh, vision, it's only believers that have access to vision. I'm sure we know that is not true. Because many of the things we are seeing around us today, we see that unbelievers are actually getting things done. They are doing great things. They are doing great things. So that means any mind that can focus and create images, capture that image in a time, and put the work to it, will actually be able to get something at the end of it. So it is the ability to think or plan. Either you're a believer or you're a non-believer. As believers, our advantage is that we have access to divine intelligence to, help us understand more and fit into the perfect plan of God. All right, so according to Syndrome, vision is a heavenly pattern that is given to a person, which causes it to become a reality within a specific time, generation, duration, and space in history. It is a heavenly pattern given to a person, which causes it to become. So that person works, puts in the work to make that heavenly pattern become a reality at a particular time or in a particular generation or season. Yeah, I love that so much, so much. So vision is not just also about imagination or just wishing. Oh, I wish tomorrow I'll be able to go on vacation, or I wish that in 2024 I'll be able to go out more. It's not just wish. It's not just, oh, I imagine those things. There is a part of work to it. Now, vision, I also describe vision as a force. It pushes its bearer into a place of attainment. So I can, get something after I have visualized it. I can get something after I have visualized it. It is building something amazing out of nothing. It is building something amazing out of nothing. It's not a matter of money or resources. It is not, oh, when I have money, then I will be able to do this. Or when I have the resources, I will be able to take this step. But it is just accepting that picture we have received and then giving ourselves solely to it. I put a scripture here that Mary, the mother of Jesus, after the angel told her she's going to give birth to a savior without meeting a man. She could be like, oh, what? She could start worrying. Oh, why is this going? But she asked the question. She said, how shall these things be? And then the angel gave her more details. And immediately she said, be it unto me. She accepted the word. She accepted the word and it manifested as she accepted it. Now, why vision? Why does someone need to actually visualize the future? Can't I just keep living day in, day out? Anything that comes, anything that goes, I just, follow through with it. Vision brings about hope and also clarity. I'm going to talk a little bit more about clarity. Vision brings about hope or clarity. So if someone has an an image of what is ahead of him, maybe 20 years time, 10 years time, the person is able to, come into himself, even when the things in the surrounding look like it's not going to be possible. The person is able to draw from that picture that he has created. There is energy from within, like, yes, I'm not dying yet. I know what is ahead of me. I'm going to do this. This is what I am made for. This is what I have been created for. All right. So vision brings about hope and clarity. And these two are the most profound for me, amongst other things that, vision brings along with it. That vision that you have of the future, it just gives you that conviction that you need to keep going, keep going, keep going. I could give an example. I'm currently writing my project for my postgraduate diploma, and my supervisor has been kind of very difficult for me to, flow with. He would not pick his calls, he would not reply messages. So it's when he chooses to answer you, he's going to answer. And many times I'm like frustrated, like, why is this man behaving this way? What is he trying to do? But then something just helps me to still keep calm and patient. Like, okay, I'm doing this because I want to get a certificate. I want to become a professional in my field. So I'm not going to allow the pressure from outside to draw me in or to draw me out of what I've envisioned. So vision just has a way of infusing us with hope, with energy, and with clarity. And then what leads many people to depression or to, committing suicide these days is because the future to them is blur. They are like blind about what is ahead of them. They are not sure of what is going to happen next. And so they're like, let me just end it. Let me just end it. Many people are in spiritual jail or in the prison we call depression today because there is no clear picture, no vision, no vision. And the Holy Book says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. So when is the time for vision? When? We have talked about vision, that it refers to a time that has not yet been experienced. There is a time that is fixed in, years ahead for some certain things to happen, for some certain occurrences to come up. Vision is eternal. I don't want us to just look at it now from the physical standpoint. It is eternal. It is eternal. It is eternal. It carries in its eternity. Because even we as human beings, we are eternal. Either we are choosing life or the other side, we are eternal. So whatever picture we are having of the future or of times ahead is also eternal. It's also eternal. There is a time for that vision in your heart to be established. Now let's also look at location. Because we have said it is eternal, there is a spiritual location for the vision where one needs to be. There's a physical location where certain things are going to happen in one's life. There is the mental location also, that is the state of mind one needs to have for the vision, to come true, to manifest. So there are locations for different stages of our vision: the nurturing, the protection, the birthing, the growth, the birthing legacies. There are different times and places for these things to happen. Right now we are learning about vision. This is a virtual location. All right. So some examples: we have Abraham had to leave his father's house for some things to show forth in his life. Some of us here had to attend some kind of schools before some things showed up in our life. We had to attend some trainings. We had to attend some seminars. We had to attend some workshops for some things to show forth in our life. So there is location. There are locations attached to the visions that we carry. Now the how, because we have looked at the 4 W's, the how, we'll look more into this tomorrow. I went through someone's assessment and the person was like, I would like to know how to, make the vision come to pass. So we are going to look at that tomorrow because that's where the practical is. Just before we go on this break, I want us to say something. I want to hear from us. I want to hear from us. We'll be going off soon. Sis, you can say something. So far.
Okay, thank you for this time out and thank you for yielding to this. I want to agree that there is a mental location for the vision indeed. Because if let's an example is Joseph. If Joseph had probably still remained with his family, sorry for the background noise, and he's still being shielded, his dad would take care of him, his favorite child, would prevent him from not doing some work. He had to make a mental shift happened. It wasn't the same person who was daddy's favorite boy and who had to work with Potiphar. So I agree that there should be a mental shift for the actualization of vision. Thank you.
Yes, so good. There is a mental location for the vision to manifest. All right, so let's take some time off and digest what we have seen so far. Welcome, Amarachi. I guess you'll be able to catch up from the replay because you have gone a little bit far. Now we want to go on a break and then we'll come back shortly to continue. I think 5 minutes. You can drink water, you can move around while we wait for the next session. All right, see you soon. Welcome back, everybody. Oh, should I say welcome back, visionaries? Wow, we have a fuller house here. I'm so sorry about all this technical itch. By God's grace, next time we are bigger and better. But you can always catch up on the recordings that will be sent. We have looked at what vision is. We have looked at why vision. We said vision brings hope and clarity. We have looked at when is the time for a vision. We said vision works with a specific time. There is a specific time for the vision to be accomplished or to be made manifest. We also talked about location, that there are locations that are important for the vision to be manifested. Also, we talked about the physical location. We talked about mental location. We talked about spiritual location. And we also talked about virtual location. For instance, as you're watching this, I said earlier that I'm sure that, you are getting incubated. You are getting pumped up with your visionary story. So tomorrow we are going to look at what are the steps to take? Okay, I've envisioned my life. What am I supposed to do next? We're going to be looking at that tomorrow. But briefly, tonight, we are going to see 8 key areas of our life where we need to, set a vision on. God made us in such a way that we have multiple phases of our lives. And all these areas, it's important for us to have a picture ahead of us that we wish to achieve, we wish to get to. The first one is the spiritual chamber. We need to envision our spiritual life. What height want to get spiritually? What height do we want to get to spiritually? Mentally, what are our goals for our mind. When we say mental, we're talking about our mind. What goals do you have for your mind? What goals can you set for your mind? Or what kind of mind must you have to be able to attain that height you want to get to? I'm being reminded of a beautiful lady's story, Esther, that married the king. Before she came for the contest, just like the other ladies came for the contest. But she had to go through preparations, 6 months for one phase of preparation, another 6 months for another point of preparation. So our mind needs to be shaped to be able to, capture and manifest the vision ahead of us. Then our health, in the area of your health, how do you want your health to be? Do you want to become fat? You want to, feed yourself in such a way that in 20 years' time, you are treating all forms of sicknesses? No, 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 no. We don't need that kind of health state, for a visionary like you. So you need to start working on those goals for your health. If you're going to stand before kings and, princes, you're going to be bringing wisdom to them. Your health needs to be intact. If you're going to be standing in front of millions to speak, your health needs to be intact. So we are going to envision the area of our health. Finances. I know we love this one because our finances are very important. Our finances are very important. We need to set goals in those areas. We need to envision our life. Let's say right now, someone is struggling financially. How do you ensure that in 20 years' time, you are not still struggling financially? You need to do some things differently, because if you don't do anything about the state you are in now, sorry to say, in 20 years' time, you still be struggling financially. So it's not a matter of age. Oh, when I grow older, then my finances will be okay. They don't answer to age. They still don't answer to age. So there are steps we need to take to ensure that we are balanced in all areas of our. What about career and education? Career and education. We need to envision those things. What do you aim, in your career, in your education? What heights do you want to get to? Do you want to switch careers? Do you want to become a doctor? Doctor, I don't mean medical doctor, but like get your doctorate in that area you have chosen. Then relational and social. Class this for our maritals, our relationship with our friends, with our families. In 20 years' time, can you picture how your relationships will be? Your relationship with your significant other, your relationship with your family members, your relationship with your friends. You don't have to wait until that time to start taking steps. You need to start taking those steps now to be able to attain what you're seeing in the future. Then the last one, ministry. Our vision is not for ourselves. The vision given to us that is captured by our mind will eventually have an outlet to other people. We will eventually serve people. We'll eventually serve kings and nations. And this is ministry. Ministry is service. So what are you envisioning? I think I also went through someone's first assessment form, and the person was like, to have a school a free school for children. That is ministry. It's service. All right. Let's move on quickly. Now let's look at the application of all the Oyibo, the English you have spoken today. How can we apply all these things? I want us to understand that in the world we are currently, there are so many problems. When you look around your community, your streets, there are so many problems you'll be able to point out to. So many things are happening. There are problems. But the world is looking for solution. And let me bring you the good news. You are the solution they are looking for. You are the woman for the job. You are the lady that is needed. You are the one for the job. You are the one to bet solution. You are not only to bet babies. You are to bet solutions. You are to bet solutions. So in our world currently, there are so many problems. And you know, the world as a whole have set goals to reduce, in a way, to set off some of the problems around us. There are problems of climate, of health, of education, of poverty, of, you know, different areas of life, of justice. And then they set these goals. They call them the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. I'm sure you must have heard of them. And what all these things are for is to bring solutions to the problems around us. So whatever choice you have made in your, you know, for your career, for your future, there is a place for you in these sustainable development goals. There is a goal that fits exactly to what you are looking at. If you want free school for children, there is education. If you want to reduce poverty for people, there is the no poverty goal. If you want, you know, water, sanitation, or you want to just give back to your environment, there is one part of it that fits into this goal, right? So we can look at those things more closely and just see where we fit in, where we see ourselves in them. But then this is where I'm very much interested. Just as the world has set goals, God has also set, you know, some words in his book for us. He has said something, said in those days that, you know, people will flock into the mountain of God. Yeah, people will flock. They want to know God. They want to, and they are not coming to the church. I'm sorry, I'm saying that, but that's the truth. We have been dragging them so much. We have been dragging them. Come to them. They are not going to come. They are not going to come. We are the ones that are going to meet them. And we are going to meet them in the areas where they are already. So that is what the mountains of influence, you know, that is what these ones address. They talk about 7 mountains of influence. These mountains are like pillars that hold our society. Everybody in the society belongs to a part of this, at least one part. If you are not, you must have family. There's somewhere you came from, family, you must have. There is a government ruling wherever you are, either your street or your village, there is a government. There is the area of business, business, finances, talking about money, how money is exchanged. There is the media, there is the arts and entertainment, there is religion. Religion here doesn't talk about church, just as I have said before. So these spaces, God also wants his children, you know, to go into these spaces and win souls for him. God is about souls. He's about souls. But they are not going to listen by you telling them that, yo, Jesus is Lord. But they don't understand that language. When you say, oh, there's someone came to the world, he died, they don't understand that language. But when you come to them through the language of their business, they understand it. When you come to them through the language of family, they understand it. And when your light shines in those areas, in that mountain, that specific mountain of influence, then they fall in love with you. They just want to hear you because they just know you are not ordinary. Now, another thing I want us to note is that there is also a tool, that is technology, that has kind of entered all these spaces, and we can leverage on those tools. Technology is that tool. Every part of this mountain of influence, there is none of it that, you know, IT doesn't come in. So that's IT, we need to pay attention to it. I can remember at the exploit place, the first time we had prayer rain. The first time we had prayer rain in May, I think 2021. And after the whole prayer, God was asking me to, you know, write on my blog about technology. About technology, I was like, what thing concern God, concern technology? But then I went, you know, searched some things. And I was actually able to see that someone had envisioned this thing about maybe 50 years ago. That, you know, everybody will have device that can make them communicate with one another, no matter where they are in the world. We talk about Internet of Things, and I was like, what? Someone envisioned these things this long ago, and now we are seeing them. We are living in the reality of somebody's vision. We are living in the reality of, one thing Jesus said, he said, this gospel must be preached everywhere in the world. How can we get everywhere in the world? If you start going to all the villages and cities, where do you want to meet up? But with technology, you can be here in Nigeria and people are watching you in China, in India. They are learning from you. They are receiving what you have to give. So in whatever mountain we find ourselves, let's not look down on technology. As much as possible, let's keep updating ourselves on the technological tools that can help in delivering our solutions to those mountains of influence. All right. So for me, when I think about my own vision, I think in terms of education, family, and media. Like those are the ideas that keep rushing my mind. Education. How can people fulfill destiny? How can people live a life of vision? How can people live a purposeful life? Education. Like, how can people's mind be exposed? How can they know more? Family. How can families be united? And then media, definitely a tool to reach these other areas. So you need to identify your own thoughts, your own dreams, the dreams that, have been shown to you. Maybe sometimes you just sleep and you see yourself singing in front of a multitude. It's a vision. You write it down, you capture it. I posted something on Facebook, I think last week, that when you write the vision down, that is the birthday of that vision. The day you write it down, it is the birth of that vision. So you have dreams, write them down. You have thoughts, write them down. You have people prophesy over your life, write them down. Don't joke with words. Your natural interests, your passions, your experiences, and even your pains. All those things are total package. You are designed for the exact purpose of God that you are meant to fulfill. Your frame, everything about you is designed to be able to fulfill the mandate upon your life. So you don't, treat anything at all about your life trivially. Your passions, your experiences, your pain, everything is needed. Everything is needed. Capture them. Write them down. Know the mountains that you have been sent to. You need to identify. Just as I was able to say, okay, education, family, media. For those of us that have talked about clarity, that we need clarity, this is the beginning of clarity. Identify, okay, I have a passion to see young girls in school. Okay, that is education. Pick it, capture it, capture it. As you keep capturing, then the clarity comes more and more. You get clear more and more. Abraham, he was in his father's house, and then God told him to get up and start going. Going where? He wasn't given a specific location, a specific direction. They just said, get up and be going. And then he got up and started going, trusting God to order his steps. Many times when we say we are not clear, what is really going on is that we are afraid. We are afraid because we are not sure of what is next, and we want to be sure. Our mind was, okay, after I do this, after I finish secondary school, I enter university. After I enter university, I go for youth service. After I go for youth service, I start working. After I start working, I get married. Beautiful, very beautiful. But what if after you finish secondary school, you start working first, then you learn a skill or learn a trade first, then you go to school? Or after you finish secondary school, this is off. Maybe you get married and then you go to school. That is by the way. So we just need to trust. We need to trust and take action. Once we get it, to take the clarity comes in the taking of the action. When I especially started, I didn't have this picture. I didn't think I was going to, be hosting this kind of meeting. I didn't envision this. What I've only envisioned is speaking to people, speaking to people, speaking to people, speaking to lift people up, speaking to encourage people, speaking to bring hope to people. But then as I started taking steps, I'll write down the things in my mind. Okay, when I hear an instruction, I just move. Okay, let me do this. I learn from my mistakes. Okay, maybe I should have done it this way. I should not have done it this way. I just move step by step, step by step. Looks like a puzzle and everything is fitting in. So you need to identify, as I've said, the thoughts you are having, the dreams that are shown to you, the prophecies over your life, your interests, your passions, your experiences, your pains, the things you see in your community that makes you cringe, like, what? Like maybe when you hear that a young lady just got pregnant, a young lady you have been seeing around you, and you're like, oh, not again. Or you hear that the marriage of barely 2 years has scattered, and you're like, is this how this thing got to? Things that make your heart bleed. But don't stay at the bleeding point. Don't stay at the bleeding point. After you've identified these mountains, look at the solutions. Think solutions, don't think problems. Think so. You are only as relevant as the solution you are bringing to the world. You are sent to the music industry. What problem is in the music industry? What problems have you had? Everybody is singing. Everybody is singing. Is it high life now? Or what are they singing now? Is it reggae or alujo? Everybody is singing that. But have you identified specific problems in that area? And you're like, God, what's the solution to this thing? You look at Nigeria, corruption, and you're like, how can this thing come to an end? Stop thinking about the problem. Think about the solution. Yes, that is a challenge. Think about the solution. Stop thinking about the problem. Stop thinking about the problem. Think solutions. Think solutions, because you are only as relevant as the solutions you bring to the world. And it's those solutions that you will be rewarded for. Yes, when you bring those solutions, you will be rewarded for it. Fear thou a man diligent, he shall stand before kings and not men. So you're not just going to do the average, or you're not going to do what every other person is doing. You have to think solutions. Don't just look at the problem like, oh, there's problem here. What is the solution? What's the way out? What is the way out? The higher the value of your solution, definitely, the higher your reward. The higher your reward. So think solutions always. Think solutions always. Think solutions always. At the end of this day one, I'm going to send 2 files to Ross. The first file is what I've talked about, the KWL vision chart, where you tell us what you already know about your life's vision, the world's vision, and the Lord's vision. Then you tell us what you want to know. What do you still want to know? And then after tomorrow, you'll be able to fill in what you have learned. Then the second is the visioning template, which is 20-year vision template. You're going to sit down. Yes, sitting down is boring, but you have to sit down and write. There are a set of questions for 20 years. How do you see your ministry in 20 years? How do you see your marriage in 20 years? How do you see your finances in 20 years? What assets? In 20 years' time, what assets do you want to have in 20 years' time? Dream big. Dreaming is free. I keep saying that it is free. They don't charge to dream. So don't limit yourself that, I don't even know if I even see just $1 million. I'm okay. Think big, think ahead, and think solution. So what are those things? We have looked at 8 or 7 chambers of our lives. So you are going to be writing out exactly how you see yourself in those 20 years. And then you draw back. Who must you be in 5 years' time to get to that position in 20 years? Who must you be spiritually in 5 years' time to be able to achieve what you have written down for 20 years? Who must you be in your relations or social life in 5 years' time? So that in 20 years' time, you'll be able to see exactly what you are you are saying now. All right. So that's going to be our mind diet. Every problem carries its own solution. And it takes a visionary like you to look beyond the problem, undress it, and milk the solution from it. Let's take all these antivirus, all these antiviral drugs, for example. It's the virus itself that they are giving into the body. And the virus itself becomes the solution. Even though the virus is what is causing the harm, the virus is what is causing the danger. That's what they are still going to use to cure the problem. So let's look at it from that direction. Look at the problem, but look beyond the problem. Tear down the problem. Have you been sent to young girls that are having low self-esteem? When you say, why are these girls, why can't they think beyond this, having this kind of things in their life? Don't just look at the problem. Sit down, draft out, look at the problem, tear it out. Why are people having this kind of problem? What are the possible solutions to this problem? And write it in your journal. So I think this brings us to the end of day 1. This brings us to the end of day 1. Yes, we'll continue tomorrow. And tomorrow is really packed. Tomorrow is packed. We're going to be looking at the life cycle of a butterfly. Even me, I'm excited, though. I'm so excited to share it. I'm so excited. I believe you're already gaining clarity. And by tomorrow, trust me, you are going to even understand better. Your mind will be more enlightened. I'm sure as you go to sleep tonight, you are going to be having a different mind shift, revelations concerning those things burning on your heart by God's grace. Okay, I want to hear from us, your questions, your take homes, your light bulb moments, and any other thing you just want to express your thoughts.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I really have gained a lot from your lectures today. First, the chambers really broke down everything, Sometimes we are forced to focus on one aspect of our life, one chamber of visionary, but this laid out 8 chambers really shows that everything goes hand in hand. Sometimes you are tempted to sorry, I don't have light here, but you're tempted to shift your focus more on education or more on profession, and one other aspect of your life is really, really dying. I remember you saying something about for you to stand before princes and before kings, you have to have your health in place. Some of us will not really focus on health. Okay, my health has to be this for these 20 years to happen and for these things to come around. And the chamber of education, the chamber of improvement and all. Please, can you hear me?
Yes,
So
yes.
I really also have a mind shift of taking your focus off the problems and then shifting your focus to solution, because you are only as relevant as the solutions you bring to the table.
Yeah.
The problem sometimes can overshadow your vision sometimes. And because the fact that some people had envisioned the same thing and they failed at it might make you think you envisioning the same thing is already a failure packed out. But when you shift that mind from seeing the problems, then going to seeing the solutions, I think there will be a change. There would be a solution coming gradually, because we tend to gratify problems and our fear and the feelings of what we are getting from the environment, the media, in some cases. As much as the media is a solution in some cases, some of us are listening to the wrong speakers, and sometimes it really blurs one's vision and all. So I've really learned a lot. This is so timely. I'm always blessed through this kind of programs. I pray for more insights. I hope I don't miss tomorrow's one because where I am presently, my battery is on red. There's no lights, but I'm so happy I'm part of this tonight. Thank you so very much, ma'am.
You're welcome. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you got that. Think solutions, don't think problems. Okay. My sisters, you want to say something to us? We want to hear your beautiful voice.
Yeah, good evening, Ma. Good evening, everyone, once again. And thank you for this platform. So, a light bulb moment that I have, and also, yes, a light bulb moment is that, okay, just go with the last instructions. And that this is me putting it out in my own words. So, yes, I'll say that, yes, my light bulb moment in my own word is to go run with the last instruction, or yes, so whatever idea that God has placed in my heart and in the direction that is leading me, I should go ahead and do it. It may not all look perfect, but along the line, you said like puzzle, it would fit in when I continue to take the first step, the baby step, the last
Mhm.
instruction. So
Yeah.
that's is a light bulb moment. Thank you once again.
Yes, Mama. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really want to appreciate us for, climbing all the mountains and the hurdles to be here tonight.